Dr. Lewis Reed, obsessed with the limits of human endurance, prepared for his most daring experiment yet: sleep deprivation. He believed pushing past known boundaries would unlock hidden potential within the human mind. 5 volunteers lay strapped to beds, wired to machines, ready to sacrifice their sleep for science. The clock ticked. The experiment began. Days blurred. Subjects grew irritable. Their senses, starved of sleep, started to malfunction. Dr. Reed, eyes gleaming with manic fascination, meticulously recorded every change. He saw the cracks forming in their sanity, the slow descent into a waking nightmare. This was it. This was the breakthrough he craved. Whispers followed the subjects, disembodied voices slithering from the shadows. They twitched and scratched, seeing phantom insects crawl on their skin. Sarah, a participant known for her resilience, now looked haunted, her eyes wide with terror. "They're here," she muttered, her voice raspy with exhaustion. "They're watching us." Dr. Reed dismissed it as expected hallucinations, the brain rebelling against sleeplessness. But doubt gnawed at him. The subjects' collective terror felt too real, their hallucinations eerily similar. He pushed on, his curiosity eclipsing his growing unease. The line between observer and participant started to blur. The lab transformed into a grotesque funhouse. Walls pulsed and breathed, their surfaces shifting and melting. The air grew thick, heavy with the stench of decay and fear. John, a burly construction worker, now trembled uncontrollably, his eyes reflecting the grotesque contortions of the room. "It's alive!" he choked, pointing a shaking finger at the walls. Dr. Reed, now unable to ignore the escalating horror, felt a chill crawl down his spine. The subjects weren't merely hallucinating, they were experiencing something real, something sinister unleashed by their sleep-deprived state. His experiment, once a beacon of scientific curiosity, had morphed into a monster. Section 4. Descent into madness. One by one, the subjects succumbed to madness. Their screams echoed through the lab, their words disjointed, laced with terror. They saw creatures lurking in the shadows, felt icy fingers brush against their skin. Trapped in a waking nightmare, their minds cracking under the strain. The lab pulsed with unseen energy. Dr. Reed watched in horrified fascination. He had unlocked something terrible. It was a descent into the abyss. His experiment had become a portal, unleashing horror. Section 5. Aftermath. The experiment ended abruptly, the silence deafening. 4 of the 5 subjects lay dead, their faces contorted in eternal screams. Only Sarah remained, her mind shattered, her eyes vacant. The lab stood sealed, a chilling monument to hubris. Some doors are better left unopened, some boundaries meant to remain uncrossed.